We've got GFITTY versus MaYo coming up for you guys. We're learning as much as we can about these players and giving you the scoop. I believe GFITTY is I want to say a Snake player. They don't have a lot of recorded sets with character data, unfortunately. And then MaYo, we've actually got
it's MaYo the
Ness.
I was gonna say Ness and
Snake,
occasionally an Olimar. Ness Snake is a
Disgusting.
matchup for sure.
Yeah.
This is a matchup that at the beginning of the game meta, people were like, oh, Ness wins, reflect or magnet, right? He just absorbs everything, lol. And he still has really good tools, but Snake can actually dash attack you for throwing that reflector, bait it out with a grenade, and then push you off stage.
Right.
He has really good tools to deal with Ness's disadvantage state, right? Nikita blocking and interrupting those PK Thunders entirely. Plus the forward air, just like that against a floaty opponent. You're seeing exactly why, despite what it looks like, Snake's got some tools.
Sheesh, yeah, that's not where you want to be. Yeah, PSI Magnet theoretically, does work against a lot of Snake's explosions. You can really absorb a lot. There's a reason that Knee Gunner, for example, is like a +3 matchup for Knee Gunner against Snake, according to some. But it looks like GFITTY is running away with this one a little bit, able to get back to center, start their own game plan, and a jab.
And I don't know if you saw that to get out of the ledge trap, right? Using that air dodge off the Cypher to block the PK fire to avoid the ledge trap scenario, saying, hey, Ness, you got to work a little bit harder than that. Utilize those hitboxes and commit against me. But if I get over aggressive in turn, that's where you can use those active hitboxes. The anti-air, keep Snake up top and really keep the pressure going. That was a great grenade pressure off the Magnet win box, but still the overextension pushing you to the skies, and you have to be really careful to hold on here.
I really love that PK Thunder threw Snake to get hit by the grenade so you don't get hard punished by like an F-tilt, which definitely would have killed Ness at that percentage.
However, that grenade, you saw the DI out. GFITTY read the DI wrong. He can react to that DI and get that up air true, or the back air there, and find that stock. So he could have found it, but just wasn't able to quite. MaYo getting the mix. Now the back throw off the drag down, and Ness is gonna make you blow up 7 days a week, man. That back air gives you nowhere to get away.
Snake was at 100%. That's just how strong Ness's back air is. Snake is a heavy, by the way, but F-tilt is going to even up the stocks, and GFITTY wants to get their game plan started. C4 center stage, watch it.
And you can't jump out of that F-tilt against Snake, because that F-tilt frame 4, right? Yeah. It will, if you swing and you buffer jump on the same frame, you'll get your 3-frame jump spot out of shield, and then on the next frame, well, you're going to get hit, right? There's nowhere left to go. So right now, it's going to be Snake trying to find a way down, utilizing that down to the F-tilt, going to look for the up-tilt combo, but just out of percent means that instead you're going to get pressed through to the corner, have to avoid this magnet, have to avoid all these hitboxes, and Ness looking for the style is the only reason that he doesn't lock that one out, but now it's going to be GFITTY's turn. He still has a chance here, Kevin.
I love that double jump instant cancel into the PSI Magnet. Otherwise, you probably would have gotten spiked by GFITTY's forward air there. But we actually starting an edge guard right here. Ness is strong for those Cypher clips. F-tilt is going to be punished by the Nair, and MaYo has another chance here. I like the air dodge to stage. PK Thunder actually puts a little bit too much end lag, trying to get back to stage now. Doesn't eat the Nikito, unfortunately, and red the roll up tilt. GFITTY closes it out. Nice.
Fantastic stuff from GFITTY. I would like to see, however, in the next game, right? Closed it out. He clutched it at the last minute off that roll read up tilt. But you saw, especially at ledge, especially ledge trapping Ness, where Snake is at his strongest by far, right? He was a little uncomfortable.
Right.
Some things he can do there. Take a grenade, lay it out. Just cover platform, force them low. Then utilize that first Nikita to pressure magnet, just like he was doing. But instead of keeping it spinning around, cancel it on the first hit, because it will fall through. It'll either hit them or not. And then you do the second one to interrupt the PK Thunder and close out the stock.
Yeah.
We're not going to see it, though, because it's going to be the swap to Ness, and I'm really surprised to see that one. Or, sorry, the swap to Byleth, which I'm very surprised to see. But I guess you just want the disjoint here.
It's interesting that GFITTY swaps to Byleth off of a win on Snake, and the stage after character selection that they went for was Smashville, which I don't think is very strong for Ness, despite the theory that like somebody that can zone you out or throw projectiles thrives under a stage. You actually don't get a lot of really good platform movement with only a center platform, because PK fires aren't going to be hitting at nice angles.
Yes, I agree, but I think also Ness's really active hitboxes are great for walling out under this platform. He's really good at juggling, which you love on this stage. Plus, his small floaty nature, the big explosive combos into those down airs, back airs, thrive really well on a stage that's as small as Smashville. You can't get away from him for these grabs. You can't space him out. And a character like Byleth can really struggle to create the space she needs against Ness to get things started. You're seeing GFITTY start to find opportunities here or there, but it's one hit, two hit, and then he has to contest these big hitboxes because he can't space them out.
Right. And at its core, I think Ness is a difficult matchup for Snake. So I think swapping was just I'm comfortable on this character as well, and I'm happy to play against this. If I beat you on Snake, that's great. I'm not giving you a chance to come back.
And I think that's fair, especially with how close that game was, right? And now the edge guard, though, maybe making you kind of eat your words a little bit. Yes, Byleth's recovery is on paper better, but it does lane you even more linear. It's less flexible than Snake's in terms of how MaYo can cover against it, right? It's much easier to intercept Byleth. So we're seeing that happen here early, and GFITTY kind of getting caught controlling space, but not having the movement, not having the extra tools to control where MaYo wants to be and lane him into getting hit, which is really where his Snake was seeing a lot of success.
Yeah. The down tilt F tilt gets GFITTY off stage, and then the PK Thunder is just enough of a scare tactic that GFITTY cannot make it back. MaYo is up so much right now, and it's partially, I think, due to the stage.
Yeah, I think he's absolutely running away from this. I also just think the Byleth just straight up hasn't been working. Hasn't had an answer to deal with his PK Thunder, which as you saw, the Thunder property can stun you off tether, put you just far enough away, it can interrupt it. It's really, really good as an edge guarding tool against Byleth. You know, and we're seeing just the full mileage of that pushing you up top. Ness has framed it to just beat out Byleth's tools to land so well that unless you're constantly finding nairs, you don't really have a tool to get much started against Ness. And we're seeing, like we talked about before, right? These characters that might have good advantage states, but hard to win in neutral in certain matchups, aren't that popular. And GFITTY's making it work right now, but MaYo is absolutely cooking.
The PK Thunder not teched, sending against the stage and sending GFITTY down that game. They are now 1-1 off of a character swap that GFITTY opted into.
And hey, first off, shout-outs, right? First down 3-0 on side stream of
true.
Warehouse Wars. GFITTY and MaYo, you guys are absolutely killing it. But agreed, I think when you're up a game, if you have a second character you know you want to try in the matchup at some point, 1-0, 2-0, perfect places to try that out, right? You have the wiggle room to work with. I like 1-0 the best because you're not too comfortable. You don't feel like if you lose the game, am I throwing? Right now you just go back to PS2, go back to Snake, know you did it before, he had to reset his adjustment, so you feel like it's a reset of game one, where again, you know you're favored. You just can't get too comfortable, and I think his Snake can put in the work.
Yep, double platform still the selection here for GFITTY. I'm not sure what the bans were, but even with the longer stage, it is the better option, like as opposed to Battlefield or Small Battlefield, which you're obviously never picking. But I'm surprised to still see us going to this double platform stage, giving MaYo so much opportunity to use their superior movement capabilities in the air and set up a lot of those PK fire angles.
I think the width of the stage, again, against Snake, here especially, you can control space really well. The platforms do give some movement, but because of their high height, right, you can see it's a little harder for Ness to get the combo started here compared to Smashville or with the width, or something like Small Battlefield with a lower platform height. And so you have to just rely for these juggles and controlling space, which to be fair, MaYo has locked in on. You see the way, right, he's holding all these angles, he's holding platform at all costs, and he's never giving GFITTY the room to breathe. Like, he's not running into these forward airs like he was last game around, and he just has really locked down the discipline in his play here on PS2.
Oh yeah, following the PK Thunder, the first hit of it is eaten by the aerial, but then just swinging it around so that it hits yourself. That's going to be a nice way to close that out, and GFITTY is on so much of a back foot here. Snake's game plan is like not entirely reliant, but if you want to play more linearly, his game plan is reliant on trading damage with grenades, and that's just not an option when you're 2 stocks down.
Yeah, the panic air dodge and the American air dodge as well, just not quite getting punished. But again, you don't even get an opportunity to find the reversal situation. Getting the weak up air just to get some pressure, trap you off platform, but again, Kevin, these single hits aren't gonna find the stock. Going for an up throw, that doesn't combo into anything. Just trying to find the read after the fact. I like some of the situations positionally that GFITTY's finding himself in. You can see he has these roll reads unlocked, right? He has the ability to come back, but it's just these extra swings like that dash attack too early, not waiting for iframes. It's just like not respecting that you're holding the edge of platform there, right? And just swinging in recklessly. That we're seeing MaYo take full advantage of here.
Right, but there's only 2 situations that you get to utilize that advantage against Ness, and it's in tech chases, which are not super common against Snake. Wow, MaYo just not even giving me a chance to analyze that moment right there, but closing out that game, going up 2-1. But the ultimate situation is if you have the mental game on lock against Ness, you have to force them into those positions where you get to succeed in that mental game, which I feel like is just so rare on Snake. You're not often getting a tech chase situation. You can get a ledge trap situation, but Ness's aerial acceleration and just general ambiguity with their aerial mobility makes it so difficult to lock them down. And they're floaty, so it's even harder to set down a tech chase situation. I don't know. I think that it's really difficult when you remember mentally you're the better player. Yeah, switching to Joker fulfills that goal of playing to your strengths. I don't know if it's going to work out, though.
I think this being the 3rd character we've seen, if I'm GFITTY, I stay the Snake. I just try to go back to my game 1 game plan, try to force out landings and punish them with dash downs with down tilt. Really establish your flow chart in the matchup. Because here, yes, you have gun, you have these tools to edge guard and find these neutral openings, but you don't have great frame data, you don't have great out of shield, and you still don't have great tools to deal with the things you're struggling with, which are these big forward air hitboxes, getting trapped in the corner, and these over-aggressive swings, whether out of disadvantage or against platform, that on the descent, MaYo has just eaten up for breakfast.
I think I'm seeing this more as a matchup check, like a knowledge check about how much matchup experience you have here. This is a matchup I see very commonly in the Midwest between like Atata and Raven King, for example, and it generally doesn't go like this, right? Like there's a lot more gun camping, and in scramble situations we're seeing a lot more like nairs, for example. But MaYo is catching this out super well and then getting edge guards with like the yo-yo. That's something that you should be able to avoid fairly easily as Joker with the tether.
And you saw there going for the forward air, but you get a drag down up there into that LaFable Infinite if you look for it, and you have the execution unlocked. So it being the secondary, not the main, you can definitely see the effect with GFITTY on capitalizing off some of these punish states. Even still though, has Joker online with the Arsene, this is the powered up state, and you have the ability to take the stock, but getting hit by a PK flash, I mean, the mental damage that does, is immense.
Yeah. You got to get back down to stage here, and we are going to see that come out with the Makara card. But throwing out Rebel's Guard is going to start to get read out here, and MaYo's already starting to punish. You see a PK fire starting here, and now we have an off-stage situation. I like the Rebel's Guard, but how do you get back? The yo-yo, that's not going to work again. The regrab is going to get caught, but unable to get the sweet spot. How do you get out of this one? You can't.
You can shield SDI. You can find that weight and the hit. You saw take the max fade until you get that ability to jump out and find your way through the maze back to stage. But even still, Kevin, you're down a stock, potentially about to go down 2. You just have to throw these hitboxes because Arsene is getting low. You get the hit, but it's still not quite enough. Now Arsene is gone, and you're looking for the hit. You get it with a gun, and that's barely going to be enough. But you had to push through absolutely everything. Eat the drop-off plat, back air, and if you're GFITTY, you know you're running out of room, but you have to find something now.
The win conditions definitely change when you're on Joker, right? You do get to play a little bit more around reads. You might get that decision fatigue where you have to make 7 correct reads in a row, like you're saying, until you get something happening. I like the SDI out there, allowing him to stay alive right there, or at least stay on stage. But GFITTY is able to get that situation started. You don't have the games in between that you can start doing your conditioning game, that you can get comfortable in this matchup, and MaYo's just playing as always.
However, you're seeing MaYo start to get aggressive for some of these kills, PK Fire, F Smash, throwing out a couple of those bats, left, right, and center. And so if you're GFITTY, it's all about the discipline. You recognize you have a chance, but you get caught by reverse hit. Nair, you lock yourself into the Rebel's Guard, and that's all she wrote. Because yes, Rebel's Guard is great against those PK Fires, against the PK Thunders. But if you land with it, you have to be really careful because you're caught in lag, you can't jump out, you have to let that move in. Yes, it has a hitbox, but unless they're actively hitting you, you kind of just can step back and throw out an aerial, which is what we just saw to end that game and end that set. The ideas were there, but the execution wasn't. And I think GFITTY, despite coming up short, has a lot to learn from those VODs. MaYo, though, just kind of got the matchup check, got the basic walling with Ness down, got the game plans, and locked it out.
Yeah, definitely more comfortable on their character than I felt like GFITTY was on their multitude of characters. Just a lot of experience playing against different enemies, different opponents, and playing their game plan accordingly. A lot of it was linear, right? A lot of it was still setting up around PK Fire and PK Thunder edge guards. The neutral and advantage states, I'd say, were pretty similar to how you would play against any matchup. But the disadvantage, I thought, was very nice. We saw a lot of what you normally see Nesses do, which is jump from ledge aerial or drop down jump to ledge aerial and get themselves out of situations like that. But they did a fantastic job of being ambiguous when the situations came, recovering high sometimes, recovering low sometimes, and I think that's something that cannot be understated.